Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Just hello, I guess, wherever you guys are at. I hope you guys are gonna have a fantastic day. And just wanted to record this video for the next little bit to on the topic of the behavioral support guide that you guys have already received. And so without further ado, let's get into it. Let me share this page so that we can talk about it and go through some of these things. Okay, if I can just make my screen. Oop, nope, no one's in the chat with me. Let me see here. Move this guy over here. Oh, apologize, guys. I'm just trying to hide the panel. Um, but if this is all we get, okay, let's not do that. Let's center it. If we can center it, okay, there we go. That way it'll help me. Um, Let me move this all the way to the top. Okay, guys, so what we have here, and what you're looking at is the Sierra Stride Behavioral Support Guide. So in this guide, we will explore effective strategies for coaches to implement behavioral tactics that foster positive environments and support student success. As coaches, it is essential to understand the diverse needs of the students and the impact that behavior has on performance and social emotional growth. If I could just add something really quick, you guys have been doing a phenomenal job with your students, and I think some of us have learned in that aspect on some boundaries and things that we could do to have the more of an authoritative figure to the students, to the kids. And so just really helping them understand, like, hey, I'm your coach. I'm not like your friend. I'm here to teach you something. I'm not here just to babysit or to take up time. But okay, so let's continue. This guide will provide practical, data-driven approaches to behavior management, grounded in tiered interventions and proactive techniques that empower students to self-regulate while reinforcing positive behaviors. And by equipping coaches with these strategies, we aim to enhance collaboration and to create inclusive, well-managed groups where students can thrive. Remember, our goal is not to punish kids, but to teach them power words: fierce, strong, mighty, brave, and powerful. And so again, that's just really the emphasis, is that we want to provide these students with these tools, these power words that is really going to help them just launch into their future, really something practical that they could use in that day, whether it's in the classroom, or it's a social interaction um, on the playground. If they're trying to make friends, that they can be brave and talk to somebody when they face challenges, that they can be mighty, and just to remember that they can do it because they're powerful, and fierce being an attitude that really says, I got this. So again, this is what it's all about. And so just going into it, below are some strategies that can help with behaviors and positively reinforce good behavior. So positive reinforcement is really huge. It celebrates you when you do it, as you celebrate milestones, recognize individual and class achievements with awards, certificate, announcements for reaching distance goals, personal best, or consistent attendance. Encouraging language. It offers supportive phrases during running games like great pace and you're getting stronger. And you can insert any power word that you see fit as well. And this is going to help boost motivation, especially during tough stretches. If you think about it, guys, they have had structure, or hopefully close to structure, all day. They've been told not to do this, not to do that, and to pretty much fall in line. And so when we come in, we're trying to teach them something. We want structure, excuse me, we want them to fall in line, but being able to have that balance and making it fun to where it's just part of the culture. Personal recognition: acknowledge each student's progress with specific compliments, like your endurance has really improved. to make them feel seen. That's validating their work. Group celebrations. After hard classes, celebrate with healthy snacks or a team photo to build community. Now, that could be another example of that. It can be, like your chants that you have at the end of the day. And it could also even tie in with number six. So I'll talk a little bit more on that. But just again, making it fun for the kids to really have them feel that they're buying into the system, they're buying into the program, they are the program, and they'll take ownership of that and just really strive there. Progress tracking, track and display progress and distance, speed, or stamina, so students see their hard work is paying off. And then again, encouragement notes, give shout out cards or notes to students, especially after tough classes, to show you're proud of them. So using these strategies on top of the ones you'll find in the other pages will help students feel good and foster positive group relationships. Avoiding power struggles shows respect, while clear, conscious communication reduces confusion. Structure creates predictability, making students feel safe and connected in a cooperative environment. So, guys, power struggles, that's probably one of the number one things that if we can avoid doing that, that you're going to go so far, and you'll also go extremely far with the other students. Setting the tone early. I know either you're watching this today or a couple days into the new session, which you're going to take all the experience from the first two sessions and apply it to your third one. Is it a cookie cutter system? No, kids are completely different. However, these students you're going to be more prepared to take on, diverse classes, and perhaps difficult students. And so really making the statement like, okay, I need to ensure that these students are doing what they are supposed to so that they can earn the medal, earn the certificate, and we just respectfully just don't give out like, man, well, I didn't really follow up on it, so I'm just going to give them the medal, because again, we don't want to cheapen the medal and the certificate for any other student. We really want the students to own it and to say, hey, look at this is the first medal that I've ever earned, or hey, look at what I put in some really hard work. I was brave, I was mighty, I was fierce, I was, some kids, I was chill. I had to chill a lot because I didn't want to listen, but I listened. So again, a lot of these things, if we empower the students, set the tone early, it's really going to help them launch into the future. And again, a positive reinforcement can also be seen as, for example, validating positive behavior. So if, say, for example, little Johnny, poor little Johnny, we always say his name, but poor little Johnny is just not listening and just acting crazy, if you will. And so one thing that we could do is that if we give him that attention, we are affirming that negative attention. But however, if we say, oh, look at sweet little Susie. Susie, thank you so much for standing in line. Thank you so much for picking up after yourself. Thank you so much for following instructions. I really like the way that Susie is demonstrating being brave and being one of the only students to listen and to be ready to go with our next exercise. So that was just a quick example of what positive reinforcement, validation, words of affirmation can do. And as you see that when you build that relationship with those students, the students are going to want to perform for you. They're going to want to do the best that they can for you, because not only are you going to give them a shout out card, but you're going to recognize them for their positive behavior. So we don't necessarily want to give the undesired behavior attention, but we really want to be able to give that positive affirmation to those students that are showing the desired behavior, and that can actually go really, really, really far. And so if you have any questions on that, please feel free to reach out. So going through the guide, when a student is frustrated, it can look like this. They're huffing and puffing, grumbling or yelling. They're being rude to others, refuse and snap at offers for help. No, I don't want to. Might sound, some of these might sound familiar, and you might think of some of these kiddos that you've had in the past. they stomp or they pound fists on their desk, or out on the field. They throw material, pencil, paper, whatever it is that you have out there, cones, the balls. They maybe will grab a cone and take off running with it. And then when you call them on it, they're going to blame others for or things for problems. They'll show a grimace, a frown, or appear angry. They'll appear flushed, tense, irritated, or even fidgety. Um, they'll stay on this topic, problem or issue. They'll just continue to stay on it no matter what you say, no matter how much you're trying to move forward. They'll refuse to transition or to move on. They'll be quick to react with anger. They cry and they refuse to work or comply. They'll lash out verbally and physically. And you'll see them, again, with the huffing and puffing, the heavy and or quick breathing, and then red in the face. And so that's just something that you have to look out for. And so when this is happening, and perhaps the student is frustrated, maybe try a couple of these strategies. One, always listen. Listen, listen, let them share their frustrations without judgment so that they feel heard. And this is also, if you'll notice, everything that we kind of, these steps that we're going into is what you're going to want to do when, if there is an incident that you have to fill out. These are some of the things that you could say that you did, that you implemented this intervention where you said, for example, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself, which I apologize. But you'll say, well, I saw that I gave him this instruction. They didn't want to do it. They got frustrated. They began to maybe cry, list a couple of the things that they did. They were frustrated. They were throwing things. They were cussing. They were doing this. And so, I tried to listen to them. I took some time. I had them tell me what the problem was. And they didn't want to share it with me. And I tried to set small goals for them, saying like, hey, if you need a little break, I'm going to give you a break, but let's get back in when you're ready. And because I feel, and now you're doing the encouragement part, because I really feel like you can do this. And I know that you can do this. I saw the way that you were running over here to class. It might have been unstructured, but still, I saw the way that you were running over here. And man, this tells me that you're very, very good for for this exercise that we're going to be doing. And then and I tried to adjust it. I tried to, in here it says offer pacing support, breaks, and buddy runs to make running feel fun and achievable. And breaks are just that. Breaks are not designed for the student to go play in another club. A break is designed for a student to sit and ponder their feelings. If the student does not want to engage with the class, then you call SOS. But you've already taken care of these 4 steps, 4 things that you've already tried to do. So that way, because I know that here at Sierra Stride, like we have the best staff. And they don't want to get kids in trouble, and they don't want to have the students to have a bad experience. And so what you do is you just kind of take them on. And unfortunately, this is it's out of the scope and practice of what we're called and what our job is to do. And so what we want to do is try to provide the best care that, or the best support that we can, until we can't, this is above us. So, hey, I'm going to call SOS. I'm going to call in for support because they already know way more than we know, of the background, of the history of what's going on. And now they just maybe need a timeout, or hey, maybe these kids are just really, really been on one for the last couple sessions, and they're like, hey, you know what? Uh, this is enough, right? And again, we want to make sure that it's conducive to the students and all the students, right? If we have one student that's disrupting everybody's participation, everybody's learning, then that's a problem. And that's a call that we can make. And if you don't feel comfortable making that call, like I said, you can always call Jessica or myself, and we will, jump in and see what we can do to support you. So that was frustrated. If the student is being disrespectful, and I'm not going to read all of them, but I'll just kind of go through a few of the ones that we see all the times. But if a student is being disrespectful, he can display the following actions. And just think about some of the students that perhaps in the past, again, were being disrespectful, and maybe you can see some of these signs. Their frequent engagement or confrontation. They weren't following directions when given. They were talking back to the adults. They were dismissive. They had lack of common courtesy. Maybe they were saying words or bumping into people, and just really didn't, excuse me, care. Um, Perhaps they had a poor attitude, or they were just always feeling like they were right, like, well, this isn't the way that we do things. They're unwilling to consider others' ideas and opinions, have no regards for others' feelings, well-being, and safety. Meaning, you could say something along the lines of like, "Man, like look at all of our friends, and they're ready to participate, but you're not willing to do that." And they say something along the lines of, "I don't care." That would be something disrespectful, right? And so again, or they're just ignoring others. So when a student is being disrespectful to you or other students, I guess, again, address behavior calmly, and address the behavior immediately, but calmly, explaining why it's not acceptable in a respectful way. Again, avoid power struggles. You are in control. That's going to be huge, right? If you know, like they say, hey, you don't know me, and I'm crazy. Like they're like, yeah, I'm going to show you that I'm crazy too, and we can go there, right? And ultimately, what does it make you look like? It makes you look like the crazy person in front of all of your class. So just stay calm, and show that assertiveness, right? What we want to show is not discipline, but we want to be assertive. We want to make sure that what our intentions, what our purpose is there is, we want to make sure that it is crystal clear so that we don't avoid power struggles. We are always in control. We just allow you to do this because that's the control, that's the power that we have. We give off that illusion that we are allowing you to do this, but when it is affecting others, then we definitely want to again call SOS. And so I said it already, but set clear expectations. Let them know if you feel like the class is being crazy and it is wonky. Start with yourself and say, okay, have I set the clear expectation? Have I said, hey, class, we need to, hey, okay, I need everybody over here. What's your attention getter? Is it like, I'll tell you right now, a lot of this teachers, they will use attention getters. Like, for example, they'll say, class, and then the students will say, yes, yes. And so a lot of, or all eyes on me. And then all the kids will say, all eyes on you. And then everybody will repeat and then do the action, right? So those are just a couple of things, and I'm sure that you guys have learned some other things that have worked for you. But those are just a couple other things. But after you set the clear expectation, you model that respect. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna. I'll wait for you to finish speaking until I can speak because I'm not gonna speak over you. That's disrespectful. If they refuse to say, okay, maybe you can go and take a break, or I can call support and they can come and talk to you. These are the two choices. There are no other choices. So again, just being assertive and clearing or setting that clear expectation of, look at, this is what's going to happen. We'll model respect and we'll let the students know, hey, I'm not here to get bullied by you or for to take the disrespect. Like we're gonna get this done whether you're here or not. And then again, provide that positive reinforcement. Say, hey, I really like, thank you so much for being respectful, little Susie, and standing in line and look and making eye contact with me and being a full body listener. This shows me that you are ready to engage, and to participate in today's activity. So that's how you can, those are some ways that you can help out a student that is perhaps being disrespectful. When we look at a student that's being defiant, the list is extremely long. And so I'm not going to go through every single one of them because again, they kind of repeat a lot. But students that are being defiant, they don't want to hear it, right? They dislike being told what to do. They do the opposite of what they're told to do. If you say jump up, they're going to sit down. If you tell them to sit down, they're going to jump up. This is defiance at its core. They can smile at you because they're just being, very I don't want to say sinister, but they're being very like vindictive, right? They're like, man, they're enjoying this. They cross their arms, stomp their feet, etc. when refusing to follow directives. They can become aggressive and act out when told to do something. They're very strong verbal protest. Their tantrums, they do tantrums and meltdown when told to do something or sometimes they quietly refuse to do as told. So again, these are just some of the signs that we see one extreme, tantrums and meltdowns, and then on the other extreme, they're quietly refusing to do as told, meaning they go this side, they give you this silent treatment. Um, Remaining in a place and refusing to move, like, no, okay, we're moving over here, no, I'm not gonna move, no, I'm staying here, why are we doing this, who are you, you're nobody to tell me what to do, so on and so forth, right? So they can scowl, they can appear angry, agitated, irritated, withdraw emotionally and physically. They'll challenge the authority of adults, they'll refuse to comply with adult requests, they'll refuse to follow the classroom or the class routines. Denies the obvious, like I didn't do that. They have difficulty during transitions from point A to point B, and there's an enormous energy and persistence. Whew. So, guys, let me share one more thing that we didn't put on here about defiance, and this just goes across the whole board when you're dealing with students that are maybe that can seem very aggressive. Be aware of your proximity. If you get down on their level, I usually do. I'm a big guy, so I usually do, but always be ready because sometimes these kids will hit. I don't know. I don't think anybody, or maybe a couple of you might have experienced something along the lines of that in accidental. But guys, we want you to be safe. We don't want anybody to catch you off guard, hit you, you fall back and hurt yourself. But just be aware, right, of proximity, because that is a key to it too, and especially for somebody that's defiant. These are some of the things that you're going to really have to practice, and that's staying calm and consistent, keeping calm during defiance, and it enforces boundaries clearly and consistently to avoid escalation. So staying calm. There's no point in both of us being escalated and to a point where of no return. Offer different choices. Sometimes those choices are going to be greeted with a no, 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 no. But again, what you're doing is that you're simply trying to implement this intervention. You're not trying to solve all the problems. You're trying to say, okay, I see that these are the behaviors. Let me see if this will work, right? And then identify underlying triggers. Is he trying to tell you something and you didn't see it, and he says you don't believe me, nobody believes me? Those are key words that the kid has a lot more going on, and it's probably just happening all the time in the classroom, at school, at home. If he starts saying stuff like nobody ever believes me, right now he feels like he puts you in that same ballpark with everybody else that doesn't listen to him. So building trust gradually, right? Being able to just stop for a moment and say, and I know this is hard because we have other students, but being able just to stop for a moment and saying, little Johnny, thank you for sharing that. And I'm sorry that you're experiencing this, um, that you feel like no one believes you or that no one's listening to you. I'd really like to talk to you about that because I want to understand more of what you're feeling, so that I can help you. Because I believe that if I can listen to you, then maybe we can work together. And man, thank you so much for being brave. Like, whoa, look at that. You you're doing one of the power words. You're being brave and you're sharing with me and you're communicating with me. Oh man, thank you so much for being brave and sharing some of those things. So I'm gonna just let you be for a little bit, but I'll come back and hopefully you'll want to talk. Now, if you come back and he's just like, forget you, I don't blah, 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 then at that point, you got to ask yourself, okay, is he going to spend the rest of the hour and a half, 2 hours, 45 minutes here, or should I just call SOS and say, listen, this is what I've tried to do. It's not working. But again, the fourth thing, building trust gradually, is going to help build a positive relationship by showing that interest in their goals and concerns, which can reduce defiance over time. Again, all of these interventions, excuse me, some of them might work right off the bat, and you'll have a winner. Normally, it takes time, just like everybody, right? It takes time to build that positive relationship, and where then they'll be sharing things with you that you're like, I don't really need to know that, but They will tell you because they trust you. Um, so again, this right here is these strategies when a student is not participating or showing lack of interest in or a lack of interest. The behaviors displayed can look like this. They can appear withdrawn or shy, avoid eye contact, and other communication, which that's important too. There's some students that, and this is just very real. And so if I could just be real and transparent, there are students that get abused at home, hit, beat, ignored, emotionally, physically. I mean, in other ways, like these kids are getting abused, and oftentimes when they refuse, avoid to make eye contact, it's not because of you or because they're being defiant or because they don't want to give you that respect. That's just the way that they cope and they go back into the one of those things. So building relationships is really going to be key there, but also just really not enforcing that. If a student doesn't want to make eye contact with you and you're speaking, I try to lower my voice because notice even if I lower my voice and I start talking like this, perhaps as you're watching this video, you kind of like hunker down and you maybe squinted your eyes, turned your head to see what I was saying. When you lower your voice, what happens is that the person has to go to that level and really pay attention to what you're saying. So if it's just you and that student and you lower your voice, trust me, they're hearing you. Now, whether they're going to respond to it, we don't know. This is why we're just trying to provide these interventions. So if they're looking down, they might be again, just for different reasons. But they have a poor sense of self, have a shortened attention span, they appear sad or unhappy, they display varying degrees of boredom and indifference, they have an I don't care attitude, have fears such as talking in front of others, fear of failing, or anxiety. So that's probably why they don't want to play either. Maybe they feel like, man, I'm tiny, I'm not going to win. But using those power words is really going to help them. um, Avoidance behaviors. They can have many excuses for not doing work or meeting expectations, but being distressed, upset, or preoccupied frequently say, I don't know. Become agitated, irritated, frustrated, or huff and puff when asked to volunteer or participate. And then have complicating home and environmental issues, which we've already kind of talked about that. So these activities can aid in supporting a student when they lack interest or are not participating. Find their motivation. Hey, what moves you? Is it that you like to be a leader? Would you like to lead stretches? Do you want to be my helper? Can you help me with this? Find their motivation and really see what it is that you can help them incorporate. Again, have them put some skin in the game so that they're going to really want to just participate and have fun. Two, set small, fun goals. So create short, achievable goals that add a sense of accomplishment, like timing a lap or counting steps to boost their confidence and engagement. They encourage peer support. Pair them with a buddy or a small group for a small social experience, which can make the activities more enjoyable and motivating. So, guys, if we're doing for example, if we have little Susie that is just super humble and just very like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna want to participate because this is scary because I'm not strong, I'm not fast, I'm not any of this. And so if you pair her with little Johnny that is going to be super competitive and is instead of encouraging her is going to be like, oh come on, and it just make her bring her self-esteem down, don't pair them together. First of all, have a conversation with Johnny, but pair her with another group of kids that are just going to really build her up and let her know that she's important, right? So that's going to really help and not only show her how to be brave and building relationships, but also in being mighty, being fierce, and having that attitude, having that support, and being strong. So these are all the power words, right? That we are helping implement into the kids' life, and then celebrate the progress. Always let them know, like, hey, I really love how you worked with these girls today. You did such an awesome job. Hey, I heard the kids saying like that they really enjoyed you being in their group. So guys, things like this is really going to help build them. Um, so moving on, students can appear negative, uh, can often display these kinds of signs. They call everything stupid or dumb, or they make self-defeating comments. They frequently diminish achievements, accomplishments, and other positive things. Well, I already have a medal. I've already earned a certificate. I've already ran before. I already know those words. Like, well, that's cool, but man, you're being disrespectful right now. You're being extremely negative to the other students. Why not try to do something else, right? Like and encourage them. They'll minimize the success of others. They'll say, oh, well, they cheated. They're non-compliant. They'll argue and bicker. They'll be dismissive. They'll never hear anything or have anything nice or productive to say. They'll always find fault in everything. Their pessimism, they say they don't care and don't want to do something or hate things. They'll talk back, or they'll show frequent anger. Sorry, guys, coffee break. But when a student is being negative, try the following interventions. Acknowledge their feelings. Allow them to express their frustrations or negative feelings. Listen actively to show that you understand their perspective, which can help them feel heard. Redirect negative comments. When negativity arises, gently redirect their focus by prompting them to share something positive or encouraging about their experience or the team. So model positivity. If you have a positive attitude, I guarantee you these kids are going to learn it. And set up group norms. Establish team norms for supportive behavior, encouraging everyone to contribute positively. Reinforce these expectations regularly to foster a more positive environment. And we're almost done, guys. I apologize for the length in this, but we really wanted to send this out to you guys so that you're able to have just more resources in your tool belt. So when a student is having a meltdown or a temper tantrum, it can look like the following: fail to respond to any redirection, calming or de-escalation, extreme oppositional and defiance, deliberately destroy items, furniture, toys, supplies, yell, scream, hit, kick, bite, fail, flail, stomp, roll around the ground, crawl, hit head on things, lay on the floor and refuse to do what is asked, run from adults and authority figures, throw things, swing at others with objects, threaten others with objects, motion they will throw objects, pout, whine, moan, groan, growl, and yelp. They are unable to de-escalate after a reasonable period, yell, no, I don't want to, or no, I don't have to, or make me, which by the way, these are all fighting words, right? These are all words that are saying, come on, engage me, see what happens. And this is again, they're challenging authority figures or adults. They make verbal and physical threats. They yell inappropriate words, say very mean and vindictive phrases, be unreasonable, express no concern for consequences, express hopelessness with the situation, and an inability to recover from situation. Whew. So these guys are students that are having a meltdown and or throwing a temper tantrum and or is out of control. So one, and I don't and I didn't put this on there and I should have, but you'll hear me say it now. First and foremost, stay calm and composed. You pretend that this is exactly, you knew this was going to happen and you're dealing with it. So you maintain a calm demeanor when addressing the tantrum. Your composed response can help de-escalate the situation and model inappropriate behavior for the child. So remove from the situation. When it comes to remove from the situation, guys, if you see that there is a kid that is throwing a temper tantrum and is just losing it and is going out of control, um, stop there and say, class, give me one quick second and call SOS. You have, I don't know, some of you, we've had classes as big as 20 something, in classes as small as 4 or 5, and maybe even 3. But guys, here's the thing. We are not necessarily trained. Our job is not necessarily to deal with that. That's why you guys have an SOS person at every school site. When that is happening, you radio, you say, hey, heart leader, heart program director, SOS, whatever the protocol is. You say, this is, I believe everybody calls it the empowerment program. Hey, this is the empowerment program. I have a student that is melting down and I need support immediately, right? This right here is going to tell the staff a couple of things. One, who you are. Two, what is happening. And three, the urgency. If you say, hey, I have a student that doesn't want to cooperate, can you please send SOS? It's going to be a while. But if you are very assertive in your communication and you say, this is the empowerment program, this is who we are, you identify yourself. Two, you say, I have a student that is melting down and throwing items and yelling obscene words. Three, I need SOS immediately. Now you've told them the gravity of the situation. Not only did you tell them a descriptive of what's going on, but you've also let them know that you need assistance immediately. So whether this is the heart leader that's going to have to run out there, the SOS person, or whoever it is, but everybody on the radio is going to hear that and they're going to respond to this kid that's losing it. Now, if he's just throwing a temper tantrum and he needs a break, great. Then remove him from the situation. Say, okay, you can stay right here. When you are ready, take a break. When you are ready, please, I'd like to talk to you, right? So that's removing them from the situation. Once you're able to, once they've calmed down a little bit, validate their feelings. Once they've calmed down, acknowledge their feelings by saying something like, I understand that you're upset. I understand that you're upset, but can you tell me why? How can I support you? How can I help you? Because I can't help you unless you tell me. So validating their emotions can help them feel understood and more willing to communicate. And then discuss appropriate responses. After the child has calmed down and you've had that conversation, say, hey, well, it's because this person cut in line and I hate it because he was cheating or whatever. You say, okay, listen, this. Thank you so much for sharing that for me. I didn't see that he cut in front of you, but perhaps next time, this today you needed to take a break because you got really upset. But say next time you come up to me and you say, hey, coach, can I share something with you? Yes. This student cut in front of me and he always does this to me and it makes me so upset. And then what I'm going to say is, um, you know what? Okay, let me go take care of it. And then you go and you handle, say, hey, friend, why did you cut? And that other kid is probably going to say, I didn't cut. I didn't cut. Some of you are probably smiling and shaking your head because you've experienced this. Very, very common. In that situation, respectfully, you validate the student that came and talked to you because they showed that they are doing what you asked them to do. So you validate their response and really encourage them. And then maybe you'll have a different conversation with the kid that cut it. Maybe you move them into another line because they're not going to mesh well, right? And so again, but really being intentional when that student comes up in spite of or despite all the chaos that is happening, make sure that that student is validated because that's going to go a very long way in building that trust and building that relationship. And so students that appear to be confrontational, defensive, this is what it might look like, is that they're going to lash out verbally at others. They will withdraw emotionally or physically, challenge the authority of the adult, refuse to comply with the adult request, refuse to follow the classroom routines, project blame onto others, denies the obvious, unable to admit a mistake, touchy and overly sensitive, impulsively reactive, minimize others and end issues, have a strong sense of injustice and being wronged. They're easily provoked and irritated and upset. When working with these students that are being confrontational or defensive, again, stay calm, respond calmly, and avoid reacting emotionally. Keeping a neutral tone helps prevent further escalation and shows them that you're open to listen. So, excuse me. So being confrontational and defensive, guys, when we say stay calm and neutral, there as adults, I'll be honest with you. Some of us might not take that, right? In the sense of like, we're going to respond to you, but we're going to respond to you with something maybe sarcastic. One, some students can't understand sarcasm. So it's going to be over their head. Two, I really, 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 really tried to cut sarcasm out of my life, because when you look up the word sarcasm and you try to understand what that, or you understand what that word is, um, uh, the word sarcasm is called a small cut. So a sarcasm is intended to hurt. It's intended to hurt. So when somebody says they're very sarcastic, it means that they say words that are intended to hurt you but not kill you. And so when you think about that, man, that changes some things, right? I know it did for me, because it's like, whoa, it's death like by that thousand cuts, right? What'll happen is that you degrade somebody mentally, that it literally affects them in all aspects of life. And so I've cut that out of my life, just because when I understood the meaning, I understood, man, I'm really trying to hurt somebody with my words. And so just be careful with the sarcasm again, because the kids will not understand that. And they might just see that as you being combative, and you will never build a solid relationship with that. Two, acknowledge their perspective. Show understanding by acknowledging their point of view, even if you disagree. Phrases like, I see you're feeling frustrated, can help lower their defenses. So if you say something like, I see you're feeling frustrated, and it's not true because none of this is real, like you have just literally destroyed their perspective. You have not validated them, and you're pretty much saying, um, hey, you're frustrated because you're a baby, right? Like, might as well have just said that. However, when we're able to just stay calm and say, okay, why are you frustrated? Perhaps we know why they're frustrated. Perhaps at home they are the only child and they get whatever they want. And so what we do in those situations is that we teach them, right? Because they don't know. So how can we expect them to do something that they don't know? So if they're going to be confrontational, again, making sure that the expectation is clear. Set a clear expectation. Say, hey, I just want to remind you guys of X, Y, and Z. Gently remind them of behavior expectations in a positive way. Reinforce that respect and teamwork are key to the club's success. So, guys, let me just share with everyone, like, guys, I know that you guys are here, and I appreciate you for being here and being ready to work, but understand, as a coach, I am prepared to do an activity with you guys. Some of you might think you know what we're doing, but please let me teach you guys, because I want to be able to make sure that you do it right. Right. And so if I help you, if I redirect you, it's not because I'm telling you that you're wrong. It's because I don't want you to miss out on some learning. So again, some of those key words that you're saying is that you're making it about them, and that you care about their learning, you care about their success, which will go a long way with the kids. And encourage problem solving. Involve them by finding a solution, by asking, what can we do to make this work better for you? Some kids will be like, well, let me go home. Well, I will let you go home as soon as your parents come. But for right now, you're here with me. Let me give you a couple of options. One, you could either do this or you can do this. You can run the laps or you can walk the laps, right? Um, is it both? These are both the ideas that you gave. You're still in control of what they're going to do. However, you've presented them the opportunity to choose what they're going to do, right? So, did they do one of the two things? Yeah. Well, good. Then they listen to you, right? And so take that small victory and continue to work with that. If they become elevated, then refer back to one of the other interventions that we talked about earlier. And so, and we're almost done. I think I said that for the second time. I'm like that preacher that says, and I'm closing for the third time. So a student can appear off task and disruptive when annoying and distracting to others. They're pestering, asking a lot of obvious questions. Are we in a run club? Right? Like, yeah, maybe, and it's like, but if you say anything else, prepare for the whole class to go bonkers. So say, yep, thank you so much for noticing and being part of it today. I'm gonna let you guys know exactly what we're gonna do. They make frequent and unnecessary comments and questions. Hands on others and in other space and belongings. They like to pick up people, they're horseplaying, right? They're doing everything but what they should be doing, failing to transition appropriately. They're out of line, playing around, horseplay, talk to others frequently. They throw objects, yell out, make noises, roll on the floor, crawl under tables, and they bother other students. Now, guys, we don't know all the kids. Um, their if they have special learning um supports at school, if they're diagnosed with autism or what have you. So sometimes there's kids that will make noise or fidget with their hands or make faces and all do all these things, and it's not because they're and they can be subtle, and it doesn't have to be a constant thing. And this is why it's really important just to even communicate with the heart program folks and say, hey, do you know anything? Can you share with me something about this student? And that's really going to, just kind of give you more tools in your belt on how to help and support that student during Run Club. But when working with students who are off task and being disruptive, these strategies can help you get back on track and help them get back on track. Uh, the redirect with engaging tasks, give them a specific role like counting laps or leading a warm up to refocus their energy and keep them engaged. Set clear expectations, remind them of the activity's purpose and your expectation, explaining how staying on task helps the whole team succeed. Provide short breaks, allow quick, structured breaks if they seem restless. A brief pause can help them release energy and return more focus. Again, this is not a hey, go play football, go play soccer, go to the crafts place, or go hang out with um, your older sibling or other sibling in the cafeteria as they're watching a movie. That's not what the short break is. The short break is, hey, you're going to stay off here in the shade, in the sun, whatever it is. If it's hot, I'm sure you'll want them in the shade. If it's cold, you'll want them in the sun. But just hey, this is what you're going to do. You're going to sit here and you're going to reflect on what's going on, and we'll talk about it when we're done because I want to help you. And so then using positive reinforcement, recognizing and praising their moments of focus or effort to encourage continued positive behavior and help them stay on track. So even when you go back to talk to them, say, "Hey, thank you so much for taking a break here and not being disruptive. Hey, can we talk about what was going on? What led you to this moment? I just don't want to do things. Okay, can you tell me why you don't want to do things? Well, this class is dumb. Well, I'm really sorry that you feel that way, but you haven't really given us a chance. Like, I really feel like you can be really good at this because I see that you have a lot of energy. It looks like you might be pretty fast. Like, man, a lot of your team, a lot of the kids here would want you on their team, and so really positive, really like turning all that negativity and turning it into a positive, right? And highlighting some things that perhaps you don't know about them, but they might need that, and and just based off of what you've seen, you'll be able to come up with some stuff, some positive things that will really help them and launch them into what you ultimately want them to do. And I believe this is the last one. So thank you guys for bearing with me. When a student is being disruptive, it can look like the following examples: speaking out of turn or blurting out, making inappropriate or humorous comments at inappropriate times, try to engage other students while class is in session, drop things, laughs, or make noises when coach is speaking or the peers are speaking. They're impulsive and they ask frequent and obvious questions. Are we going to run now? Are we going to do warm up laps now? Are we gonna are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do that? Can we do this? Can we do that? And it's like, yes, those are all obvious questions. And you know that we're going to do all that. And so again, this is one of those things that we're going to do when students are displaying these kinds of behaviors. One, we try to redirect that behavior. So gently redirect the behavior by giving the child a specific role, like leading warm up or helping with equipment to channel their energy positively. Kids want to help. Trust me, they want to help. So if you already know that little Johnny is going to be the disruptive student, you say, hey Johnny, man, thank you so much for helping me today. Or hey, the last time that we were out here, you really helped me a lot when you brought the wagon. Is there any way that you could do that for me today? Hey, Johnny, is there any way that you can model what a warm-up lap looks like? Because I see some friends that are struggling, and I've seen you do it. You're one of the best ones that we have. So again, just getting them involved, redirecting that behavior of asking questions will, giving that responsibility will help them just kind of stay on track because they know that you're going to call on them to help. And so setting clear boundaries, remind them of the behavior expectations for the club, explaining how disruptions affect them. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as I close. But provide a quick reset option. Allow short breaks if they seem restless, a quick water break or breathing exercise that could help them refocus. So follow up privately. After the session, check in with the child to discuss their behavior and help them set a goal for improving next time. So this is a big one that we see, right? Your first day in class, in first few days in class, is where you truly set clear boundaries, where you set the tone of what the potential for the rest of the sessions is going to be. And there's going to be some weeks, I think one week in week, not this following week, but the following week, that's going to be longer days for everyone. And so what's going to happen in those situations is that the kids might get a little bit more restless, and so you want to really set the clear expectations. If we start getting rain, we might have to be doing stuff in the classroom. And so that's going to go even further to setting clear boundaries and expectations, and letting them know, hey, this is what the expectation is. This is what the boundary is. And really holding those kids to the balance is really going to help them understand, like, I need to be part of the group. I need to be part of all of this, what we are doing. And so, guys, in closing, these strategies are just another tool for your tool belt. I hope and our prayer is that you're able to do this, and we know that you guys have done a fantastic job in these last couple sessions, and we hope that this tools that we're giving you today are going to just further validate you as well, because you could be saying, as I was going through that extensive list of this and that, that you're saying, hey, I did that. Hey, that worked. That didn't work. Maybe I could follow up with the question, which please do, because again, we want that kind of feedback so that we could see, like, okay, how can we best support you? But ultimately, guys, your role, your job as the coach, as the leader the of the program, what you have to do is truly come in, love on these kids, um, show them the lesson. For those students that do not want to participate, that are going to be extremely difficult, try, right? Hey, try some of these strategies. If and I'm not saying, okay, you got to try these strategies for 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks before you can call SOS. Like, no, some of the kids, and you'll see, because the other kids will respond like, well, like, oh, this is just nothing. They'll act like nothing because this is what they see all the time. Please call SOS. Your job is truly not to just to handle behaviors and to do all of that. SOS's job is for that. So we want to make sure that when they are doing, like, if it's a temper tantrum and they're just off by themselves doing it, okay, great. As soon as I get the kids going, I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to try to talk to them. If they stay like that for one whole class, okay, they stayed like that for one whole class. But now what I'm going to do is afterwards, uh, after I drop the kids off, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk to the director. And I'm gonna say, hey, can you give me some insight on the kids, and can you please let me know what's going on with them so that I can best assist them? Is there anything that I need to know? And that's gonna really help you to again, just to know the student and build those relationships. But we want all of you guys to be successful. We believe that all of you guys will be successful. But again, when you go in, set the boundary. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody that they run over, or do you want to be their coach, somebody that has something to offer them? So you're going to do that by setting those clear boundaries. Practice assertive communication. Pretend that these kids don't know how to speak English, or any language, and so you have to communicate very very directly and very assertively. If you say, hey guys, go over there and warm up, you never know what you're gonna get. But if you say, guys, I have set some cones up in a circle formation, I need you to do 2 laps, starting from here. So as soon as you run one, then you'll come to this cone and that'll be lap one. Then you'll have to do one other cone. So setting those clear expectations and communicating assertively is really going to go really far. So again, positively affirm students when they're doing what they're supposed to do. Thank you so much for doing that. Hey, I really love the way you did this, and thank you for being brave, or thank you for being powerful. Thank you for being strong. Use those power words all the time. And just try to fit them in anywhere you can, because that's really what the launch of this program is to empower these kids and let them know, like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. And then at the end of it, when you have your circle and you guys are doing your cool down stretches, you can always have that circle where you say, guys, the word today we were really focusing on, like, say, powerful or brave. Guys, can somebody give me an example of how we can use brave in the classroom? And the kids will be like, I don't know. And then maybe you could think of a way, like, well, maybe when the teacher asks, like, hey, can somebody come and give us the answer on the board? I knew the answer, but I didn't want to go. I was afraid. Well, okay. Well, maybe what if we were to say, you know what? I am brave. I can raise it. And it's okay if sometimes we're wrong. I said, because man, we stepped out and we were brave, but now we didn't fail. We just learned of a way that we don't do it. Now we learn the right way to do it. And then we could try again another day. But we have to be fierce to continue to try, because fierce is more than just um, an emotion, but it's an attitude. It's the way that we walk around, the way that we think of ourselves, that we're not afraid of anything, that we can take all these things on because we're brave, we're powerful. We're mighty, right? And so when as you expand that, the power words, and the kids are really going to take ownership of those words and use it all the time. And then even start the next class and say, hey, can anybody tell me an example of where they used one of their power words? And I promise you that there's going to be some kids that might say, hey, I was brave because I did this, or I was powerful because I did this, or I was mighty. And then it allows the kids to start, like, whoa, I could really apply this everywhere else. And that could be something that you do at the very beginning. So the kids are going to start trying to implement it even more, so that they can share with you how they're doing it. But ultimately, you guys are doing awesome. Continue all the great work that you guys are doing. If you have any questions about anything that we discussed today, please, please, please feel free to ask. This is going to be put on YouTube, so please smash the like button, share with your friends, subscribe for more content like this. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's going to be on YouTube, but you don't have to do all that. But hey, you guys, thank you so much, and I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. And just praying blessings on all of you, and that everybody would just have an awesome session, and that this would just help you throughout all of your sessions and just life. So, guys, thank you so very much from me and Jessica. Thank you. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.